There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. You know, it's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name. Hey, yo, what's good? Right now you're watching Casino Is the Name, and I wanted to talk to you guys about why $1 million watch makes sense. But only if you're rich. Only if you're rich, though. So money is perspective, right? Like if you make $30,000 a year, $40,000 a year, even if you made $250,000 a year, it wouldn't make very much sense to you to buy $1 million watch. It don't make any sense, right? But if you're Jay-Z and Beyonce or somebody like that who has an estimated 1.1 billion or $1 billion sitting in the bank, then your perspective on money and finances is completely warped, especially if you're still making 100 million a year off of the things that you're still doing, on top of the fact that you're earning 5% interest on that $1 billion sitting in the bank. So 1% of $1 billion is 10 million, right? So 5% of $1 billion is $50 million. So if your money is just sitting and is making $50 million a year, and then you're still bringing in, the husband is bringing in 80 million, the wife is bringing in 80 million, like y'all are still bringing in millions and millions and millions, and the government is going to tax, they're going to tax you to death. Like there's no other way to even, they're going to tax you like crazy, right? 45, 50% of whatever you bringing in. So if you bringing in 80 million, they're going to take 40 million, right? Unless you can show that you're putting the money back into the economy, investing it in some way, doing something. You can itemize, especially as entertainers or other business type people. If you can make it business expenses and things like that, then you can write it pretty much all off. So even though they were going to take that 40 million out of that 80 million, if you spent 40 million and you could justify it, you could just about live tax free. And that's what a lot of them do. So $1 million watch still seems ridiculous, right? But when you think about the fact that they can bring in 100 million or 200 million that year, outside of the fact that they're making 50 million of interest on their money just sitting, Jay-Z, Beyonce, they can buy 50 $1 million watches that year, and it still not affect the money that they have sitting in the bank. Matter of fact, they can buy $50 million watches every year, and it still not decrease the $1 billion that they have sitting. On top of, they would still be bringing in 100 million, 200 million a year that they need to justify in spending some kind of way, right? So Jay-Z said on the song, "My accountant's so good, I'm practically living tax-free." You know what? I'm an accountant. I'm not Jay-Z's accountant, but I am an accountant, and he has a very good accountant if that's what he's doing, because that's kind of really like how he should be living, because the government basically just wants you to put the money back into the economy. If you don't put the money back into the economy, they will take it. Okay? So when you're rich, it's very hard to say, I don't want to spend no money. You got to invest it, either invest it in like real estate, stocks, spend it. Basically, you still got to spend it though, right? Like you still got to spend it. That's pretty much the premise of this entire conversation. But this is the other side. You see them buying art pieces, like art and stuff. Now, I don't know all the details behind buying art, but buying $1 million watches, art, things like that, they're also hedging their money, which hedging means kind of like pretty much like protecting it against inflation, right? So you buy a timepiece that costs $1 million today. Hopefully it goes up in appreciation over time. That $1 million watch should go up over time in value, right? Hopefully it's worth $3 million in the next 20 years or whatever it is. But you're buying something and you're hedging it against inflation. On top of that, they're taking out insurance on all of this stuff, right? So you can buy $1 million watch and then get a $2 million insurance policy, or put two $1 million insurance policies on it. And even though you're paying the insurance policies, you could probably write that off too some kind of way. Like, I'm just saying that that all of these things that they're buying, the art pieces and things like that, that are going to appreciate in value, and the watches and jewelry that's going to appreciate in value if you buy it right, they're actually protecting the money in ways. It seems ridiculous when you're thinking like, this person got $1 million car, but now that $1 million car over 2 years is now worth $2 million or $3 million because it's a 1 of 1 or it's a 2 of 2. And so all of these things have to be taken into account. So while we're sitting around and we're making our, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year, $500,000 a year, and we're judging what we're seeing Jay-Z and Beyonce do, or some other very rich celebrity who's buying jets and things like that, you have no idea what you're even looking at. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a very different world. I remember talking to this older guy, and he was a much older guy from the country, farm, grew up on a farm, grew up on family land and things like that. And he couldn't understand that I went out to eat at Applebee's every day. Like, I just went there for lunch, like, every day. Like, that was no big deal to me, right? But to him, that was going out to eat, because they only did that like once a year, if that, and so that was an extreme. He was like, oh my God, you're spending so much money going to eat at Applebee's. And like, I would just go to Red Lobster and just get like lunch on a Wednesday. Like, it's not a big deal, right? But in his world, that was such a ridiculous thing. He thought I was crazy. Am I crazy for Applebee's? Am I crazy for, Red Lobster? Like, am I crazy for that? No, I'm not crazy, because, I wasn't even by myself. Like, my brother went with me all the time. Like, me and my brother used to go to Applebee's every day. Like, every day. Like, it was just where we ate at a particular point in time of the day, because we'll watch the game or something. But it was no big deal, and for many of you, that's no big deal. But for other people, that could seem like a travesty to spend that kind of money. But it's all perspective. So anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name, and if it seems like a lot of money to you, let's get out here and get this money. Let's run your money up to the point where it don't mean nothing to you either. All right, anyway, right now you're watching Casino Is the Name. There are hedge fund managers making $1 million an hour. It's crazy, right? It's money everywhere. It's money in everything. I want to help you. Start your business today. Come join my royal family. Subscribe to Casino Is the Name.